The pull away phase happens between month 2.5 to 3 months. That's what a regular pull away phase is. Usually around 2.5 months to 3 months. If he's pulling away before that 2-month mark, ma'am, that's not the pull away phase. He got what he wanted and he's no longer interested. Or what happened was called the Coolidge effect. Do you guys know why a man can be like all into you? He wants to have sex with you. He wants to be with you. He's calling you all the time. And then all of a sudden, like that, he goes cold. So, you know, back in the day, the old folks would say, the old ladies would say, never get dressed completely naked the first time you have sex with a man. And I was so confused. Why not? Right? And they also said, never just be on tap for your man. That means never just be where you're just every single time he wants it, you say yes. There needs to be some days where it's like, okay, baby, maybe tomorrow. Not all the time, but you should never be on tap. You should give him something to want. Now, there's a science behind that, and it's called the Coolidge effect. So they did a study on rats, and they took a male rat and put him in a closed space with like 6 other female rats. And he would have sex with like all the different females until his heart was content. And then when he reached the Coolidge effect, then he no longer was able to produce the testosterone to desire them sexually anymore. He no longer was interested in them anymore. And he didn't want to have sex until a new rat was introduced into that closed space. That is called the Coolidge effect. So when a man is able to have carte blanche access to you and he's getting all the sex he wants, especially if he hasn't produced, hear me what I'm saying, if he hasn't produced enough vasopressin prior to having sex with you, and vasopressin receptors, vasopressin is his bonding hormone. Vasopressin is what makes him want to provide, protect, and commit to you. So if he has sex with you, yes ma'am, if he has sex with you before he's produced enough of the vasopressin, according to Dr. Don Maslar, then he has the potential to go through what's called the Coolidge effect. That means he couldn't even get it up if he wanted to, because his testosterone is no longer triggered to have sex with you. It's no longer triggered. That's called the Coolidge effect. I'm going to break down to you how to specifically trigger and raise his vasopressin. And you got to do this before you have sex with him, or you're going to risk heartbreak. Okay? You're going to risk him having sex. He's going to be like, oh no, I'm not like that. Oh no, like I care about you. Then when he disappears, you're going to be confused. All right, so this is how you trigger vasopressin. Remember CAP. Increase curiosity, increase anticipation, and polarity. Curiosity, anticipation, polarity. Okay? How you increase curiosity, ma'am, is you cannot just be readily available and tell him every single thing about you. You cannot. You got to know how to date. There's an art and a science to dating. I teach my women in Diva University how to be able to date in a way that triggers his vasopressin and increase the likelihood that he's going to want to commit to you. That's what I teach my divas, because there's certain techniques for being able to first vet a man and attract more men who are committed, commitment minded. Do y'all understand that there's some men, no matter what kind of woman you are, who will not commit? Do y'all understand that some men are just for the streets, period? Do y'all understand that there's a gene that increases the likelihood that he's a player? Do y'all understand that? Did you know that there is a gene, like there's a genetic marker that increases the likelihood that he will be a player? And ma'am, it doesn't matter. You can pray, you can beg, you can cry, you can sex him to damnation, ma'am. And no matter what you do, he will still cheat on you. Yes, ma'am. Y'all want to know what that gene is? It's called the DRD4 gene. There's some men, no matter what you do, they're for the streets. The problem is that a lot of women like the bad boys, like that. Okay? A lot of women are drawn to that. Your love blocks draw you to that man. Your trauma drives you to that man. And if you don't heal your love blocks, you're going to find yourself automatically wanting him. So the first thing is, for the cap, is increasing curiosity. If you really want to increase a man's curiosity, ma'am, have a life, have hobbies, have things that you can talk about, and have the ability to be able to hold a conversation and be the kind of woman that can be in your feminine energy and where you're like solid in yourself and you don't have this fear of missing out. You can't increase in curiosity and be afraid that he's going to lose interest at the same time. You can't. Okay? You cannot, mark my words, write it down. You cannot increase curiosity in a man and trigger his vasopressin and at the same time be afraid that he's going to lose interest in you. If you're afraid that you're with this man and he got the money, he's cute, he drives a nice car, he has all the things, and you're afraid of missing out and that you're going to lose him, you've already lost. Okay? Just clock out. You've lost already. Because if you date afraid that he's going to walk away, then you've lost the power. He's not going to be interested in you. The woman that he's going to want to be his wife is the kind of woman that can and will walk away if he doesn't come correct. Okay? Men need a woman who is going to bring out the best in them. Not a woman who is going to just placate them. They don't need a mother. They don't need a mommy. So you have to be secure. The next thing in order to trigger vasopressin is anticipation. How do you increase anticipation in this man? First, you got to know what it means. What is anticipation? That's where he's looking. He cannot wait to be around you. He can't wait to take you on a date. He can't wait to do something to make you happy. He can't wait to be in your energy field. He cannot wait to be in your space. Ma'am, anticipation's a must. Now remember, you're not doing this because you're trying to get a man. I need y'all to really hear me. Getting a man is not hard. I promise you it's not. I did a dating experiment. I went on over 100 dates in 3 months. I interviewed over 4,000 men, women, and couples. Getting a man is not hard, especially when you understand how they are biochemically and psychologically wired. And when you understand the science of attraction and you use it to your advantage, you understand that no man's off limits. It's not hard. Now, getting a good man who matches you, who you have chemistry with on all 5 levels. That's the part that requires that you come at a certain level, mentally, emotionally, and energetically, ma'am. In order to attract a man where you're compatible at all 5 levels, and the 5 levels are mentally, emotionally, spiritually, soulmate level, and sexually. Those are the 5 points of compatibility. A lot of you guys get caught up. You get excited about the chemistry and you're like, oh, we have chemistry and it's only the physical chemistry. Ma'am, that's not enough, ma'am. Physical chemistry is not enough in order for you to be happy and make a decision to be with somebody. It's not. And that's how you end up getting your heart broken. Okay? You let your hallelujah sunshine make the decision of a lifetime. You're like, oh, I want a man and he needs to be fine and he needs to smell good and and I'm not saying to get a man who's funky, but what I am saying is that the physical chemistry is the least out of all those chemistry points. The physical chemistry is the least likely to keep you together. Okay? The physical chemistry is the least likely to keep you together. You need mental chemistry, emotional chemistry, physical chemistry, soulmate chemistry, and spiritual chemistry. Okay? So you have to have, when you have a soulmate, you have all five. You have all five. If you have somebody that you are physically compatible with, but you're not mentally compatible with, it's a no, ma'am. Ma'am, his money matters. His money matters. The amount of money a man makes shows you where he's at mentally. Okay? I'm not one of those coaches that's going to say just date him because of his personality and his potential. I'm sorry if you're looking for that, ma'am. I'm not the one. Okay? He needs to be able to financially add value to your life. And if he's not able to add value to your life, he's a no, ma'am. Okay? Now, no, ma'am, it's not a sprinkle. Okay? It's not. I'm not shy about saying this. I do not subscribe to the idea of dating a man only for money. I don't. I can't stand it. It makes me itch. I can't stand that women are being encouraged to date a man only for money, because those women who have done that, they come to me and they come to me crying after they've been with these men and they're living a good lifestyle, right? They're in the big house. They have the car. They have all these things and they are miserable. They are so miserable. So I don't subscribe to that. Okay. But if you do, ma'am, you like it, I love it. Do you? I don't like it. I don't subscribe to it. Now, it's important that he also is emotionally compatible with you, that he has character, that there's certain things that he won't do. He has a level of emotional intelligence. It's important because if he does not, if he isn't emotionally compatible with you, then you're going to feel like he doesn't really get you, he doesn't hear you, he doesn't meet your needs. Okay? And then the last P, the P stands for polarity. Now the polarity part, who understands what I'm talking about? That polarity triggers vasopressin. Who understands? The reason why I tell you guys to do coffee on the first date, not dinner, is because what coffee does is because it increases that curiosity and that anticipation. Why? First, because it limits your time. Ma'am, he should always believe that you're busy. Not so busy where you don't have time to have conversations here or there or go out here or there. Not busy like that, ma'am. But he should always believe that, first of all, he's not the only one vying for your attention. And he should always believe that you have a life and your life would not be centered around him. And so because you're so busy, you don't have time to accept the dinner date with all the men that want your time. You don't have time. You don't know if this man is crazy and deranged. A coffee date allows you to be able to vet him, determine his values and his valor. Is he a gentleman? Is he a man that has character? Is he a man that feels good to your energy, your spirit, when you're in person with him? You want to keep the first date short and sweet. It's like a sample. And the sample tastes so good that you have to have it again. Because you're not just dating for one date. You're dating for a marriage. And if you're dating for a marriage, you're going to want this man planning date 5 and 6 on the first dates. And if you have any type of master seductress skills, and all seduction is using your feminine energy to ethically influence, then you're going to be able to say the things that drop in his mind. When he says dinner, you're like, how about you take me to dinner on the third day? For now, I just want to sit down and just get to know you. Oh, girl. And then when that 45 minutes is up, get your behind up, ma'am. Get up. All right, I'm looking forward to getting to know you. I have to go back to work. It's in the middle of the day. He doesn't get a dinner unless he's earned the dinner. He doesn't get your time unless he's earned it. Beyonce would not give just some regular Joe Smo who was interested in taking her to dinner time. Okay? She wouldn't do that. You would have to earn Beyonce's dinner time. And if you might be of interest to her, you might be able to get a short meeting. And then as the relationship builds, you're earning more time. Ma'am, you are valuable. You are a queen. You are the prize. You have a life. Make him earn it so that when he gets it, he appreciates it and he knows that you don't just give it out to anybody. Okay? Because if he doesn't have to earn you, he's not going to value you. If that man does not have to earn you, he's not going to value you long term. We as women have to take some accountability. We have made it way too easy for these men. And it's like gremlins, okay? We done dropped a drop of water on one gremlin and it turned into a whole bunch of gremlins. They're running wild, ma'am. You made it easy for these gremlins and now we have a whole bunch of Build-A-Bears, okay? The Build-A-Bears are running mad wild. They're acting like women. They up in here telling other women that we need to ask them out on a date. They're telling women that we need to buy them flowers, that we need to pay for the date, that we need to listen to their emotions, that we need to pay the bills, ma'am, that we need to put gas in the car, that we need to fix the car. Come on now. That we need to be the one that's approaching them because they're scared. You know, they have been traumatized and hurt in past relationships. So the decent guys aren't going to chase you. Only the players are going to chase you. So then that means now we have to now act in our masculine energy to chase these dusty Build-A-Bears. Make it make sense. So you mean to tell me to chase you, pursue you, pour into you, pay for you, marry you, take on your name, have your kids and ruin my body and risk my life. And then I'm the one that's taking care of the household. I'm encouraging you. I'm adding value to you. My presence, per the statistics, is increasing your lifespan, your quality of life, and your mental health. And can somebody make it make sense? Because the math ain't mathing. And the more that we have stepped in our masculine energy, we have created a monster. And if you want these men to bring their A games and start stepping up so that they can meet our needs as women, then ladies, you are going to have to make a decision. You will have to make a decision to raise your standards. Now, polarity. If you want to increase polarity, this is what polarity is, ma'am. Okay? If you want a man who's in his masculine energy, you got to be in your feminine energy. If you're up in there in your masculine energy, just think of masculine energy as the black side of this magnet. Okay? And if this is the masculine energy, you masculine, he masculine, guess what's going to happen? Do y'all see what's happening? Masculine. What's happening? For all the people who are like masculine, feminine don't exist. There's polarity in everything in nature. They are repelling, ma'am. You show up as in your masculine energy to a masculine man, he's not going to marry you. I don't care how much you think he loves you. He is not going to marry you because it doesn't fit. There's no polarity. You're repelling each other, just like these magnets are repelling each other. If he's in his feminine energy and you in your feminine energy, guess what else? See this? I'm trying to connect it. It's repelling. This is polarity. Feminine, masculine. That's polarity, ma'am. That's polarity. You gotta be higher in your feminine energy. And we help women to be able to increase their feminine energy holistically after they heal their love blocks. So they're in their heal feminine energy. so that they can be able to magnetize automatically a masculine man who's going to be the kind of man that's wanting to pour into you, earn you, and pursue you.